I'm Sidel Pitas, and I'm at the Griffin Museum in beautiful downtown Winchester. It's on Shore Road, and the building itself was designed to look like an old mill. So it stands beside the very picturesque Aberjona River. It's a wonderful place to visit, and right now it's currently housing a fabulous exhibit of 100 years of Fenway Park. You just won't believe the treasures that are here until you come and see it, and you have to do that before June 3rd. Tell us how this amazing exhibition was assembled, who thought of it, how did you get this stuff?
Well, we planned 2 years ago to assemble this exhibition called Fenway Park. It was the brainchild of our board president, Peter Griffin, much to my chagrin, because I fought him tooth and nail, but he's absolutely right. It's turned out to be such a wonderful exhibition. We went to various facilities to find photographs. We went to Historic New England, the Boston Red Sox themselves, Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm amazed that you got so many things from the Boston Red Sox themselves, because they've turned Fenway Park into a museum for this occasion too. In particular, you have the Boston Red Sox 1912 World Series championship banner and the one for 1918. How were you able to get these things when they were doing their own exhibit?
They were quite open. We went to the Red Sox a number of times, sat with them, told them what we wanted, and they opened up their archives for us. As a matter of fact, on May 26th, we are going to house the 2 World Series trophies here at the museum as well. So that ought to be nice for the town to have them here.
That is going to be amazing. Are we going to have any famous guests invited to touch them?
No, we tried. I tried to get Wally. Wally's not coming.
Well,
but we do have Ortiz's World Series shirt, so some people may find that of interest.
oh, I think they're going to just find it fascinating. Now, you've got how many pictures here? 100?
It's about 110.
Okay. So this is probably like asking you, if you had children, which is your favorite. But what are some of the more interesting or involving or beautiful exhibits that you'd like to point us to?
Well, my favorites in this particular exhibition are the photographs of the spectators, and I think it kind of assimilates what the rationale was behind the exhibit. There's so many images, it's a slew of stimulation, and if you look at the photographs with the spectators in them, that's what we wanted to accomplish with this show, and I think that we did.
I think you did too. That it's about the ballpark itself, this show. It's not about the team so much.
It's not. Although the players are present, we tried to point out the architecture. We tried to point out the visitors to Fenway Park, the spectators, the Green Monster. We had to find a way to be able to assemble all of these images and make sense for the viewer. So you will see them grouped into special sections.
Now, I like the fact that this exhibit tells a social history as well. You mentioned the spectators, and if you look at what the spectators are wearing and who they are, those photographs tell a wonderful story. Looking just at the hats, for example.
Mm-hmm. Well, over the years, the spectator has changed. There's a more formal view historically, and present day, well, you can come in any kind of costume or none at all.
Right, but back in the day, you had, if it was spring, it was straw boaters, and you have a photograph showing a sea of these straw boaters, and then another one taken from a similar perspective, but the guys are wearing bowler hats. And then, of course, there's that extraordinary picture of Nuns' Day.
My favorite image, it really is. It's the Catholic girl in me coming out. But what you may see in these images are the spirit of a community, the Boston fans, the New England fans, and it's ever present in the stands.
It's a fabulous exhibit, and I want to thank you for sharing some of your favorites with us. And now I'm going to ask Peter to come forward and answer some questions about his famous uncle and the founding of the museum.
Oh, thank you, Sidel.
Peter, your uncle, Arthur Griffin, had a very special connection to the Boston Red Sox and Fenway Park, and baseball in general. You want to tell us what that is?
Very much so. He began to work for the Boston Globe in 1929 and remained with the Globe probably until the late 40s. In 1939, he was sent by the Red Sox to Fenway Park to shoot this hot new rookie by the name of Ted Williams. And he shot Ted both in black and white because all of the publications only printed in black and white in those days. But he also had this great relationship with Eastman Kodak, who would send him new color film. So he also spent some time with Ted to shoot Ted in color for the first time. And he put the transparencies away until a few years before the museum opened, took them out and printed them. And the color quality remained intact. It was a whole different image of Ted Williams than people were conditioned to towards the end of his career.
So right here in Winchester, this little suburban town, we have one of the most famous photographs that ever was. What is it?
It's Ted Williams in color. It's a vertical image of Ted after just completing batting the ball. And it appeared on the cover of Sports Illustrated in 2002 at the time of Ted's death. And one of the things, too, my uncle moved to Winchester in 1936 and remained in Winchester until his death in 2001 and was so much a part of the community, and that's one of the reasons why he chose to open the museum in Winchester.
Yeah, he was quite a gentleman. I had the honor of meeting him. And the nice thing about the museum is that it was completed and there were many shows and a lot of fun social events here before your uncle passed away. So he was able to enjoy the fruits of his endeavors in getting the museum started.
Very much so. He was quite the party boy. In fact, in Prohibition, towards the end of Prohibition, he and a buddy of his rented a barn out in Framingham and would have Prohibition parties out there, and people would drive from the Boston area. In those days, he hadn't yet moved to Winchester, would drive all the way out to Boston to partake of illegal liquor.
I love it. I love it. So in all these 110 photographs and exhibits, do you have any favorites?
Well, there are a couple. There's a series of 4 that were photographed right after 9/11, and there's something very otherworldly about them. There's not a person in sight. There's not any bit of activity. They're just there. And even the black and white, and even the black and white tint, there's something different about between those and the other black and whites in the show.
Okay, there are 2 other exhibits here focusing on Ted Williams, and we're going to visit those in a little bit, so don't go away.
I won't. Thank you very much.
So Paula, in mounting these exhibitions, what audiences were you looking to attract?
Well, I knew with this exhibit we probably wouldn't get the photographic community. I was looking more for the general public, people that normally wouldn't come to the museum but would come to see a spectator sport. I wasn't choosing images for their aesthetic view, but more for the event view. If you look at some of these images, some of them may be technically flawed, but that really wasn't the importance in this particular exhibition. It was what was happening at the park itself.
And how has attendance been so far?
Oh gosh, it's been incredible.
Oh, good.
There's been days that the regular staff couldn't handle the audience, and we've had to come in and take care of accounting for the visitors.
I'm glad to hear that, because sometimes I feel like there are more people who come in from New York and other cities in the world than from Winchester and the surrounding towns.
No, you're absolutely right. I travel a lot for the museum. I can go to China. I can go to San Francisco. People know who the Griffin Museum is in those places. I walk down to the center of town, and people don't know that the Winchester Museum, the Griffin Museum, actually exists.
Well, that's a shame, and I hope that from now on they'll be very well aware of it. Now, we're standing in front of a picture of Janet Marie Smith, who's a noted architect, and there are other architectural drawings and depictions of the park in its evolution. Mm-hmm. Why did you pick those particular images?
Well, some of them came to us synchronistically. This particular map of the park that was dedicated and signed by Carlton Fisk came from a family friend of Peter Griffin. He happened to be at a party, and talking about the exhibit, the piece came to us, which happened a lot. The Dom DiMaggio family donated images to the show just through conversation. Word of mouth really spread on this particular exhibition.
And I know I saw Dom DiMaggio's hat and part of his uniform, so we'll have to take a look at that. And now, I want to give some props to Janet Marie Smith, this architect, because she had saved Camden Yards, which is the ballpark that's home to the Baltimore Orioles. And that's an urban ballpark, a sort of analogous to Fenway Park. And when we thought that Fenway Park was going to have to be, I don't know, torn down, moved somewhere else because it just wasn't workable and was too small, she came along and kind of saved the day.
She did. She did. And we put her image in the show as an afterthought because it really is an important timepiece. And we hope at the end of this month that we can get her here to do a talk on her process, although we haven't finalized it yet because it takes a lot of time, and when there's only 2 people in an organization to do programming, it may or may not happen, although she's very eager to come to Winchester to talk about her process.
Well, I hope you do, and I hope to see her again when she comes. Also, there are seats over the Green Monster, and that was one of her big contributions. And then they close Yawkey Way on game days to make it a pedestrian way, and that's just one of the major things that you can actually see. There are just a million other changes that she made that make the park a success that you don't normally see. But tell me something, and I think you talked about this earlier. Do you have to be a baseball fan to enjoy this this exhibit?
I really don't think you do. I think that there's an aesthetic to some of the images, to look at the history behind the park. If you're a buff of history, I think it's a perfect mesh. If you like to have fun, there's images here that show families. There's images of people having weddings at the baseball park. I think there's something for everyone. Maybe not every image will appeal to you, but if you find 5, I think I'll be very happy.
I think that anybody's going to find more than that, and I think the kids will be happy too. There's a lot in this show and in the other shows that are going on at the same time right here for them as well. We're going to talk about them in a minute.
Well, one of the things in planning this show, we wanted something to correspond with it. There is an illustrator, Matt Travaris, who photographs Ted Williams. And as you know, that we are a photography museum. So I wanted to show his illustrations of Ted Williams very badly, so I had to figure out, as a nonprofit with the 501c3, how do we keep our mission and still show the illustrations? So we paired Arthur Griffin's Ted Williams with those images, and the kids have loved them, and the parents as well.
I'm sure they will, and we're equally proud of Matt Tavares, who's a local author. And by 501c3, you're talking about your tax-exempt status that also allows people who donate to the museum to deduct their donations from their taxes. So it's a very special tax status, and definitely worth
One we don't want to
preserving, right? Okay. Now I would like to talk with your assistant director, associate director of the museum, and find out her take on this.
Oh, that'd be great.
Hi, Frances. How
Hi,
long
Sidel.
have you been associate director here?
Almost 3 years in August.
Have you enjoyed it?
Of course.
Well, what are you going to say with Paula standing right there? But how come we're in front of Pretzel's guy here?
So I think it's important, you're talking to not the biggest baseball fan, but someone who could still enjoy this show. And I really am attracted to these vendors' images, especially this young boy carrying this pretzel box over his head. You know, his first day, you can imagine he's like, oh, I get to watch the game and I get to be here anyway. But now it's kind of my job. And I think Laura Brody, who's the photographer, caught it at the most beautiful moment where the light is hitting this metal and it creates such a beautiful atmosphere that I'm very attracted to this image.
You know, we have several works by Laura Brody here. Is she the same cookbook chocolate making Laura Brody? Oh my gosh.
Yep, she has many
Multi-talented.
cookbooks. Yep, and she's a photographer. She has a dark room in her basement. She's a very talented woman.
Yeah. Well, If she stops by, give me a call, because
I
I'd love
will,
to see her
I
again.
will.
Okay, so have you seen young people come through this
Yes,
exhibit?
I've had a good amount of my friends were at the opening, and they, whether they're baseball fans or not, they really love the show. I think a lot of people from Boston are attracted to the aerial shots of the area before it was all built up. You know, a lot of people live around that area, and it's interesting to look, oh, there's that, and I live right there. And it's interesting to, you know, compare the streets then till now.
Yeah, and we were talking about whether local people are coming by to enjoy this that's right in their own backyard. Frequently, people don't appreciate things that are like right next door. So I don't know, can you tell when people from Winchester, surrounding towns come?
I usually ask people where they're coming from, and mostly surrounding towns. If the Globe highlights us, Sunday's a crazy day, and we've had a lot of younger kids in baseball hats come barging through the door. They can't wait to see it. So that's great.
That's great. We're going to talk about some of the things you have for children, not including this exhibit, but that are coming up. So be ready to answer those questions
Okay.
when I ask them for you.
Great.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you.
You too.
Now we're in front of one of my favorite works in the show. I like it because it looks like an abstract painting, and it turns out to be one of the most famous aspects of Fenway Park. It's the Green Monster, and Paula will share with us maybe why it's called the Green Monster. Paula?
Well, Sidel, I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer that. I think perhaps its height, and sometimes it was beyond reach for the...
And I'm going to give you a little hint.
Okay.
What I think it is. I think it's some of the dimples
Oh, yes.
that you see here.
Well, there are 100 years of hits here. The artist, Steve Wilstein, who is also a sports writer for the Boston Globe, I saw this image and wanted to exhibit it, and he looked at the image that he had and didn't think that it did it justice. So he went out and shot this again
Just for this exhibit?
us to
Fabulous.
exhibit here.
How about
And in doing so, he wanted us to exhibit it like 6 feet long, which I would have loved to have done that, but that would have meant that I couldn't put up other images in the show. But you're right, it does, for me, border on the abstract, and I think it's quite beautiful.
I do too, and somebody who knows more about baseball than I do has suggested that because of these indentations made by 100 years of baseballs hitting it, when a baseball does hit it, there is no way for the outfielders to predict which way the ball is going to come off the wall. And that's another thing that makes it the Green Monster, because they just can't field that way. They can't catch the ball if they can't predict what the reflection of the ball is going to be. But I just love it as a photograph, and I'm delighted to learn that it was taken just for this exhibit.
Yeah.
Do we get to keep it?
No,
Oh.
Unfortunately
All
not,
right.
unless he wants to donate it to us. Many people have come in and actually said, you know, that green is not the Green Monster green. And it's not, but it's his prerogative as the photographer to recreate whatever he wants to. The front wall and the main wall that introduces the show to the visitor, we tried to simulate the Green Monster green, and what we found out is that that paint is only available through the Red Sox. So we used a colorimeter and matched it as best we could and made our own Green Monster green for
That's
our
amazing.
wall.
And it's a little darker
It
than,
is.
than
It is.
this. This would be a little bright if it were actually out on the field.
Absolutely.
And it might, you might disappear because you can't, be the same color as the grass, who knows?
Yeah.
But anyway, I love the image, and I'm glad that you're featuring it in the show.
Thank you. He has another show in this, another image in this show. I don't know if you saw it. It's Lester's 5 pitches on the back wall.
Okay,
You
yes.
might want to take a look at that.
All right. Okay, so Paula, I have a Lou Jones photograph.
You do?
I do. I bought it for my husband for a birthday present because it shows a diver at the Olympics when they were held in Spain, and it has the Sagrada Familia cathedral towers in the background, which is something that Philip loves too. And so we have that photo, and I'm a great admirer of Lou Jones. So we're standing in front of a Lou Jones photograph. You want to tell me anything about this?
Well, Lou has photographed many sports events, Fenway Park being one of them. This image that's over the 5 pitches by Steve Wilstein is a pitcher's view through the legs of another player. This particular image is going to be featured on the Harbor Walk during the Flash Forward Festival that takes place in early June. It's a photo festival in Boston that the Griffin Museum is going to kick off the festival for our Focus Awards on June 6th. And that particular image is going to be 6 feet long, on the ground, with 5 other images from this show as well.
That's amazing. Now, Lou Jones is a member of your board, right?
He is. And he's a premier photographer, master photographer, internationally known. He does commercial work, he does documentary work, and he's noted for his images of social injustices. He has photographed and written books, 5 books, and one of them on prisoners on death row. So we're pretty lucky to have Lou on our board.
Yeah. We're also standing in front of the infamous contract, but I don't want to focus in on it now. I think people should just come and see it.
I think so.
I think it's amazing. Now, the board that advises or helps run the museum. I want to talk about them for just a minute because I know Lou is a famous photographer on them, and you have brought in, and I don't know if the board members have been instrumental in this, but you have brought in the most amazing photographers that this country has, I think, over the course of your tenure here.
Yep. Well, you know, the goal is to have board members that are a cross-section of needs that the museum has. We have, probably in the past 5 years, brought in prominent photographers, hoping that we can attract other photographers. And we have an exhibition committee, and Lou Jones is on that as well. So he has been instrumental in bringing major exhibits here to the Griffin.
And I've been interested in the fact that you have done some work to encourage certain groups to come that might not think about coming. I want to tell us a little bit about Senior Sundays.
Oh, well, it originated because my mother was in a nursing home. I would go to the nursing home every weekend, and if I saw her play another game of bingo, I thought I was going to scream. So I wanted to devise a program that would bring respect to an aged community. And I thought, you know, networking, what are they missing in their lives? They're missing stimulation. What could we bring them? So I tried, you know, once a month to put together a program of photographers that come talk to seniors and their families about a subject of interest. Mostly when I'm looking for a photographer that comes, it's a narrative that they can bring, not necessarily the photographs. Although our audience appreciates the photographs, it's the stories behind them that I think they find fascinating. And it's been very exciting, and gosh, I think we're going on our 7th year of having Senior Sundays. That's pretty cool.
It does sound very cool, and that's just one of the kinds of programs that you've developed to bring people in. I want to talk about the children's programs in a minute as well, but to do that, we'll probably move to yet another room in this wonderful exhibit.
Thank you, Suzanne.
So Peter Griffin and I are in front of one of the world's most famous photographs. Peter, tell us what we're looking at.
Well, we're looking at an image of Ted Williams that was taken in 1939 in his rookie year at Fenway Park. And my uncle worked for the Boston Globe in those days, but also, too, he had a great relationship with Eastman Kodak, who would send him color film, new color film to try out. And that was really interesting because my uncle in those days was very hot on new technology, which in those days was 35 millimeter camera and color film. And I think the image reinforces Ted's nickname as Splendid Splinter. He was tall, he was over 6 feet. Unlike the players today that are very bulky and muscular, Ted was extremely skinny. One of my uncle's other images that he took in a show that we ran a few years ago was Ted sitting in the locker room on a bench with a towel around him and his thigh exposed, and there was nothing there. It was just really skinny. And this particular image reinforces that whole notion of Ted being very, very thin.
Now, what has this picture meant for the museum? I know that people come from all over to see it. Are there reproductions available?
No. The reproductions that are licensed by the museum and that are allowed to exist by the museum. We own the transparencies from the whole series of Ted Williams color images of 1939. So these are not mass distributed like you do see some images in malls and in sports memorabilia shops. We control the image, and there's an exclusivity to this whole series of images.
So there you have it. If you want to see the real thing, come here to the Griffin Museum in beautiful downtown Winchester, right?
That's correct. Thank you.
So we have been talking about children relating to this exhibit and to this book about Ted Williams. Children are very important to the Griffin Museum and its mission, and always have been, as far as I can remember, in the 20-year existence of the museum. So tell me, Frances, what's coming up especially for children this summer?
So this summer, it's, I believe, the 4th year we've done our summer camps with an educator. Her name is Catherine Nasser from Medford. And this year we're running 3 weeks total in July, 2 weeks for middle school kids, grades 5 through 9. And it'll be 1 week for a collage, and then a second week Photoshop Digital Arts Mania, I think it's called. And then the 3rd week for an elementary class. And the kids come in and, go wild, let their boundaries down, create some beautiful art, and then at the end of the week we have a small exhibit in the gallery, so they get to feel like represented artists, and it's a very cool feeling.
I'll bet it is. And are you going to personally participate in any way?
I'm here throughout the days. I love to look around. I always want to, whip out my scissors too and glue and sit on the floor with them. You're not sitting on the floor, but I'd like to.
It sounds like fun. Can I come?
Yeah, sure.
And I'm going to ask Paula to come back and tell us what comes after this fabulous exhibit. What else can we see? Paula, come right on over here. And see, we get all three of us into the shot. Tell us what the future holds for the Griffin Museum.
Well, as June 4th comes around, Fenway Park will come down, and we prepare to install an exhibit called Photosynthesis 7, which is an exhibit of Winchester High School students in collaboration with the Boston Arts Academy. That will be up for the month of June. The photosynthesis program, by its name, Photosynthesis 7, is in its 7th year. It's a mentorship program that we do that lasts the whole year. We bring in 2 mentors that work with the students all year round, and then the curator of the George Eastman House, curator of photography, Allison Nordstrom, comes in and does one-on-one critiques with the kids, and she chooses which images will be hanging on our wall. So each of the students will get about 4 to 5 images in the show, and it's one of our pride and joys, that particular program.
It's so exciting. This is such an exciting place. So this is the Griffin Museum in Winchester. Thank you very much to Frances and to Paula and to Peter for giving us this tour and telling us about this wonderful resource, inviting you all down to see it. I'm Sidel Pitas for WinCam. Until next time, bye-bye.